Hello everybody, and welcome to our very first episode of our Building Bloxburg series. In this episode, we will show you how to build this beautiful 1900s rustic house. This wonderful hillside home features one living room, a full kitchen, and one dining room, and a garage on the first floor, and 3 bedrooms including one master on the second floor, along with one bathroom. But stop, because let's see how we got to this moment. There's one thing in particular I want to talk about when building this house in the landscaping: the mansard roof. This idea I got from the YouTuber Anix, who I think got it from somewhere else. Basically, if you place a mansard roof in any shape you like and rise it to its highest level, you can kind of create a really high mountain that is super useful for this build. This, frankly, is what the whole entire house is based on, and of course I made some additions. When it comes to the entrance, I added several layers of flat roof rise to a certain level to make a nice walkway towards the house. On one other side, when it comes to the garage, I had several ramps leading up to it to make a nice walkway for the car. Of course, after the house, I added some trees, some bushes, general landscaping, but the mansard roof was the main part of it. The layout is a very, very, very weird layout. Because of the mansard roof and my placement of the stairs and ramps, it had this weird entrance along with this weird garage, and I don't recommend for anyone to do it, especially if you're a newbie. But anyways, the entrance and the garage are 2 very weird diagonals, some diagonals being greater than others to make the 2 ends meet, and I don't think they meet. I think the garage doesn't meet with one part of the kitchen, and the entrance and the garage, they somehow meet like that, but it's a very weird shape. However, when we go more towards the back and part of the side where the living room and the dining room are, you could see that it's sort of like cleaned out. If you're trying to mimic this build, I definitely suggest you do some more hard curves, maybe some diagonals here and there to give it more interesting shape, but especially hard curves. For the second floor, I just put out some bedrooms. There wasn't much effort and much thinking behind it, so yeah. If you watch the series Lock and Key on Netflix, you can sort of see that this house is kind of based on the Matheson house. Here's a picture of the house, and now you could probably see that the walls are mostly this wooden beige color, which I tried to mimic throughout the entirety of the house. What's also to be noted is the wall trims. The wall trims make the house look very nice. You see I separate the first and second floor through linen wall trims, and the roof in the second floor with a robust wall molding that is also linen. I didn't try to do much with the windows. You see the windows are green to give it a contrast between the beige, and they also have a nice curtains on each side. Lastly, I tried carrying out that green through pillars and other sort of structures, even bigger windows like the main one up front. So yeah, I also carried out that green because at a point it was looking a bit bland. The roof is pretty basic, just some simple mansard and pyramid roofs. You could pause this to read it if you want to. So let's start off with the living room / foyer / entrance room. You clearly see that I definitely experimented with some nice wall trims. There's also a big wall trim where the fireplace is, and I tried to give it that Christmas feel of coziness in some sort of that way. So that's why some parts like green and red, that sort of Christmas vibe, which gives the house that coziness that you can sort of see in a 1900s house. Another thing to point out is how much variation in wall textures there are. You can see some things being a one wall texture, another I just used that big wall trim, and then another thing I used the twisted wood. All those different wall textures sort of came in nice and well, and I didn't keep it consistent. I made it irregular. Let's move on to the kitchen, because the kitchen is actually one of the most intriguing parts about the build, but not because of the kitchen itself. Because even though I just did wooden cabinets, the background and the thing behind the kitchen, the wallpaper, is really nice. I got it from 7iOS. I think I have it right. Link is in the description. But about that, like the wallpaper used for that, I like it. It's pretty cool. The dining room was supposed to be a part of the living room, not its own room, but I actually like it as its own room. And also, it's really small, so the table needs to be slanted. It's like weird when it's straight, so it was like needs to be slanted, and then you had this nice chandelier right next to it. I like the dining room, and I think it worked out pretty well. The garage is pretty basic, just a car there, not really much anything else. I did something with the walls, but it's not too extra or anything. We also see the same thing with the corridor. I didn't want to make anything too extra with the upstairs corridor, with that little space you have right there. I wanted to put all my effort into the rooms. Alright, let's get into the bathroom. The bathroom is probably one of the worst, like, individual rooms, you know, but I actually like it. It's another one of those custom wallpapers, and you have this, like, nice, like, drape on the window, so I think the bathroom worked out pretty well. Alright, now we're getting in a bit more interesting stuff. So, the children's room. That was actually a pretty hard room to do. I knew like 1900s children's room had like wallpapers on each corner, so I tried to do that. I also tried to make like a sort of baby room, like a crib right there in the corner. I think it turned out pretty well, so yeah. Now we're going on to one of my favorites, being the teenage room. The teenage room is one of my favorites because of how spacious it is. It has a weird layout, but the space in this room is great. It has a nice carpet in the center, along with a nice, like, looking out window thing. I love that sort of feel. And also you see the paintings right there. And it just feels like a spacious room. I like the way it was carried out. Lastly, we have by far the weirdest room, the master bedroom. The master bedroom is so weird in terms of layout, but it has that nice balcony that I love the balcony personally. But you see that slant when you enter the bed. I somehow managed to think I pulled it off. I think it turned out decently well. You can see that you enter in at a slant and then you walk into the bed. Additionally, you have a slant when you're in the actual like area, which also makes it weird, but it somehow worked in a decently well way. With that, the video is basically done. Now this is a montage of some lady trying to get me to build a house and I left the game. But anyways, I'm going to show you a full tour, just not me talking, just a full tour with only music, though not even cropped it, a full tour of the house. You can leave the video if you want, but here is a full tour of the house. Well, I guess that's my first video for 2020. See you next time on Bloxburg Building.